Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot and a PMDG 777 beta tester. Welcome to the next flight in the 777 freighter. Today we're going to fly the AeroLogic aircraft from Leipzig over to Frankfurt for about a quick 40-minute flight, transporting some 85 tons of cargo. So follow me inside as we're about to set the aircraft up. We're going to enter over here from the supernumerary area, and from here we can walk right up into the cockpit through the curtain over here, and in the cockpit let's go ahead and take a seat. Now we're going to start with a couple of basics, ensuring the safety of the aircraft, ensuring that we are good to go over here. But first things first, AeroLogic coming on, and remember, since the 777 freighter is a separate product from the 777-300ER, we also need to set up all our options again. So things like the thrust lever movement down here, or for example your IRS options, will all have to be set independent of the 777-300ER. Now, with all of that out of the way, we can go ahead and can start working on our flight. So let's go into the FMC 200 GE90 engine with a current enough database. Let's use the GPS position for our IRS, and then we can import our SimBrief data, and we can use that to uplink our route to the aircraft. So route request, SimBrief, set payload, set fuel, and select route. Now while that's in progress, we can have a quick look into our flight plan and have a look at the weather conditions, which aren't all that good today. So departure airport, Leipzig, shows a little bit better than it actually is right now. We do have a couple of showers moving through, and well, a typical early December morning, I would call it. Temperatures of 6 degrees. Now moving down towards our destination airport, Frankfurt is actually reporting good weather conditions with a couple of showers throughout the day. Our first alternate Hahn, however, really isn't that good, with broken clouds in 200, and looking at the forecast, even broken 100 is forecast, so low visibility conditions. With that, we really shouldn't use Hahn as our alternate. So I suppose exchanging it against any of these other airports over here. And we can see that Munich should be good, Düsseldorf should be good, Cologne should be good. So let's move up a little bit in the flight plan and find the alternate information. And we can see over here that from the 3 different available alternates, Cologne is the one that has the least fuel requirement in form of 3,605 kilos, which, if we look down here, versus Hahn 2,335, is round about 1,400 kilos more. So the standard fuel for this flight would have been 12 tons. Let's take 1.5 more, then we're at 13.5. And I think that is going to be a good number for our flight. So fuel load 13,500, enter, and here we go. In the meantime, the route uplink has appeared, and we are going from Leipzig to Frankfurt as the German Cargo 170. Now for our plan of the day, we've got the AuTAC 5 Sierra departure, and if we take a look into the Navigraph charts, then we can find it right down here, AuTAC 5 Sierra ANAV departure, which follows more or less the runway heading until eventually going direct to AuTAC, initial climb flight level 70. So that's really about as easy as it gets. Apart from that, we can also take a couple of charts, so let's go with the airport charts, and I think we need the apron 4 and 5 for our taxi, and likewise, if we zoom in a little bit on the en route chart, then we're also going to get our taxi charts, or rather our live taxi chart over here. So here we go. Alright, then let's go right back into our FMS and continue our setup. So departure arrivals, 26 left, and we are going to go with the AuTAC 5 Sierra. And for the arrival, we are gonna land on the northern runway today, so ILS Yankee runway 25 right. Coming in from Kerax, we can already select the Delta Fox 424 transition and the Kerax 5 Alpha arrival. So route, quick look over here, and compare that with the flight plan. So we've got AuTAC 5 Sierra to AuTAC, Tango 177 ODP, Tango 157 Kerax, Kerax arrival. and that's all looking good. Okay, now let's go ahead and have a look at the SID itself. And as you can see, there is no speed restriction or constraint along the arrival, so nothing in here is correct. Activate, wind data load, and execute, and then we've got a mileage of 231, which checks with the flight plan at 233. For the MSA, we are going to draw a 25-mile ring around Leipzig Airport, and we do not need any nav aids. Transition altitude 5000, which checks with the chart. Then onto our performance. Something nice about the freighters is that we usually know all the values well in advance, so we don't really need to do a lot there. The only thing we need to do is change the cruise level here. 240 is automatically calculated, but we are just going to go towards level 220. The cruise CG will be 30. And then on the takeoff reference page, acceleration altitude 1000, and it is going to be a wet runway down here. Well, and with that we have completed our FMS setup, so let's move on to the rest of our flight deck. Up here everything's set. Oh, look at that, the voice recorder switch is missing. Okay, emergency lights armed. Down here the seatbelt sign can already come on. Up here everything is set, and up here, well, we don't need any of the controls for our lower deck cargo, so that's fine. So everything up here is set. Alright, moving down, let's have a look into the latest weather conditions, please. So, departure weather Leipzig, 22082, light showers of rain, few clouds, broken clouds, overcast clouds, 6 degrees, QNH 1014. Frequencies 1228 and 121.5. Transmit on left, listen to right, and that's it. So, TCAS above and transponder code 2000. Alright, and that is the initial flight deck setup done. Something I really like about the freighters is as soon as the cargo loading is complete, you just go straight away. No need for any nonsense waiting around or stuff like that. I really do appreciate that. So, recoil and all of that is expected. Okay, then. Oil quantity is good. Hydraulic quantities are good. Oxygen test is also good. Then down onto the comm page, flight information, ATIS request. Leipzig from Watson, please, and send that one out. While we're waiting for the ATIS to come in, let's go on to our checklist and reset all. And then let's set the park and brake. And with that, we are pretty much ready to go. Okay, are you ready for the departure briefing? So, threats for the departure, to be honest, I don't really see any. Then let's do the route check. Echo Delta Delta Papa towards Echo Delta Delta Foxtrot, Bravo Oscar X-Ray 170. We're flying via Ortak, Tango 177 ODP, Tango 157 Kerax, with a ground distance of 231 versus 233. Fuel remaining will only be calculated in 13 seconds once our IRS alignment is complete. And I think that was the weather. So, something that PMDG have fixed with the latest version is that COM messages no longer show on the ICAS. Only ATC messages do. So when you get the COM, you just press the COM key, then it opens up right on the correct page. So information alpha at 1220, which is in the future. Okay, winds are checked, temperatures are looking good, generated by PMDG using VATSIM data. Okay, thank you. Okay, so back towards the briefing. The QNH is 1014, reading 480 feet, time UTC 1212, and flight directors are on. Standby instruments set. Left seat takeoff, runway 26 left, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, and we have no specials. Engine out on the runway track, climbing 25 miles. And towards 5,000. Then we can come back for an ILS approach onto runway 26 left. Okay, taxi, pushback over there, taxi out, parallel, and then onto the full length for our departure. The SID itself is going to be the Ortag 5 Sierra departure, which we have on a chart over here. And if we have a look at this, we go straight ahead to Disan, Delta Papa 525, and then a right-hand turn towards Ortag, climbing to flight level 70. Any questions on that? No? Wonderful. Well, in that case, cockpit preparation checklist, please. Or, well, we're in a Boeing pre-flight checklist. Oxygen, test 100%, flight instruments, heading 082, altimeter 1014, reading 480. Set left, set right, pre-flight checklist complete. Okay. So that's all looking good. Then I tend to say we are going to close up. So for that, let's go down into the EFB, ground operations, ground service vehicles, release all. And we don't have any ground power on, we're on the APU, park and brake is set, so the chocks can be removed as well. In the meantime, GSX, prepare for pushback and departure, handling by, well, DHL Airways, whatever that's supposed to be. And then, takeoff performance, 26 left, wet, import the weights, and we'll have the engine anti-ice on for takeoff. Import the weather, calculate. So takeoff 2 at 48 degrees. And in here, 229.2 giving 242.7, which equals what we have in here. Wonderful. So takeoff 2 and 48 degrees flex temperature. 84.5. 84.5. Wonderful. Okay, flaps 5 takeoff. We'll take the trim from down here. And the speed's 139, 154, 156. So the EFB always takes precedence over the FMC if the difference is more than 1 knot. Okay, and with that we are set down here. So let's go to the back and arm the doors. So let's see, up here the cargo door is closed and latched. It should be locked, of course. But that is bugged at the moment in the preview version. Okay, door is armed and door is not arming. Okay, that's another bug. We've just got to open and close it again. So, open, close, and once it's closed again, we can arm the door. Okay, perfect. So with that, our doors are prepared. The doors are closed down here. Well then, before start procedure. So 155, LNAV, VNAV, runway heading 262. And that's in here, and climbing 7,000. Okay, ground flight deck. Go ahead. Can we pressurize the hydraulics? Yes, clear to pressurize. Danke. Okay, that's all on, and then trim 4.75 units is selected. Transponder on, before start checklist, please. MCP. So that's V2155, heading 262, altitude 7000. Takeoff speeds V1139, VR154, V2155. CDU pre-flight completed. Trims 4.75, 0 and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed, holding a beacon. So, request pushback clearance, please. And then it's gonna be nose left. Pushback clearance received. Before start checklist complete. Okay, ground flight. We're clear to push face north. Park brake set. Release brakes. Park and brake released. And with that, off we go. Okay, so finally, up and on the way. I gotta say, for me as a German, I'm just so happy that we finally have the 777 freighter, as that's the version that you will find in Germany with both Lufthansa Cargo and AeroLogic. Unfortunately, there are just no passenger 777 freighters. Did I say passenger 777 freighter? There are no passenger 777s around over here. And the 777X that Lufthansa has ordered is just getting delay over delay over delay. Okay, engine to start. Just listen to those sounds. Those are magnificent, aren't they? And there we have ignition. And the pushback is complete. Set the park and brake, please. Park and brake set. Okay, looks like a good start on the right-hand engine. Let's go ahead and start the left-hand engine. So ground flight, we are starting the left. Clear left. Okay, we should get fuel flow here in a moment, and here we go indeed. And one starts rising. We should get EGT any moment, and here we go, we have ignition. Oil pressure is coming up normally. Ground flight, we have 2 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect, show me the pin on the right hand side please, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye! I don't know why the auto brake went off again, that should have been an RTO. And I could swear I said it there. There has to be a bug involved somewhere there. Going to investigate that one. Alright, hand signal is received. After start procedure, please. Then flight controls. Full up. Full down. Neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. And before taxi checklist, anti-ice, engine anti-ice on, recall, checked, flight controls checked, ground equipment cleared before taxi checklist complete. So we are clear on the left side and we are clear on the right side. Let's go! So, we should not have pushed onto the blue line, but onto the center line here. Let's correct that mistake of the pusher. Something I really like about flying the freighter is that you often have shorter routes that you otherwise just wouldn't do with the 777. So, straight ahead, left, right, to the full length. We could go to the right over here already. The freighter is a fair bit shorter than the 300ER. You still need to apply a significant amount of oversteering, but it's not as much as it is in the 300ER, and that really shows. Okay, clear of the apron before takeoff checklist. Why are my flaps retracted? We extended them, didn't we? Very strange. And it's retracting them again. Why? Okay, let's get those flaps out again. We've just got to hope they are going to stay out for the takeoff then. I have a feeling it might be joystick related, since installing FS 2024 seems to have messed a little bit with my control settings in FS 2020. Even though I'm not sure how and why the two simulators affect one another, but it seems to have happened, so we'll just have to live with it. Okay, before takeoff checklist complete. And then there's only flat terrain around, so let's go into weather radar, both of us. Clear on the left side and clear on the right side. Line up items, please. Nobody on TCAS as well. Excellent. Cabin, prepare for departure. Still making those announcements because you might have some supernumeraries with you, and you surely don't want them to make coffee while you're taking off. Especially not with my flying skills, but that would be a totally different point. Okay, are you ready? Take off.
On runway 26 left.
Intentionally. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Checked. You're up. Okay, wipe us off. Autopilot on. And we're accelerating. Flaps 1, speed checked. Flaps 1. Flaps up, speed checked. Flaps up. And the flaps are up. After takeoff checklist, after takeoff checklist complete. This Boeing ECL is just so easy to use. I very much prefer it over the Airbus electronic checklist, if I'm honest. There isn't much stuff that Boeing gets better than Airbus, but surely some of it. Now, a little bit of weather straight ahead here. Not on the weather radar, but certainly when looking outside, but I think this is going to be fine. So, for now, let's continue our climb to flight level 220, which is going to be our cruising level. And once we get a little bit higher, I'm sure we can get ourselves some good shortcuts. Set standard. Standard cross-check, passing flight level 52. Now. Checked. I really gotta say, the lighting engine in FS 2024 just looks a lot better than that in FS 2020. After using 2024 for a while, it feels a little hard to go back to the old sim, if I'm honest. It kinda gets us there, but you get where I'm going with this. Okay, coming out of the clouds. Now this is looking pretty cool, isn't it? So, I tend to say we are almost reaching level 100. Once we reach 100, proceed direct to Karax, which seems to be what the real flight is doing all the time as well. Looks like it might take us through a little bit of weather though, but let's see if we're able to climb above it. That's where a good weather radar would be needed now, and not this Asobo stuff. Okay, direct to Karax. Then passing 100, lights off, and we'll leave the signs on for the time being. Now some of you may be wondering why why I have turned the engine anti-ice back to auto after the flaps were retracted. That is actually SOP on the 777 since it has an automatic ice detection system, and Boeing wants the pilots to use the engine anti-ice on the ground, but once you're in flight and once the flaps are retracted, you put them into auto and then the airplane is going to anti-ice automatically. Now since we're flying AeroLogic, let's go ahead and give ourselves the engine mini display, or the compact display as Boeing calls it, as that seems to be something that AeroLogic is using. It is worth mentioning at this point that if you have the compact display open, there is a customer option whether the full engine display would still open if any abnormal is encountered on the engines, or if not. My old operator on the 737, for example, similar logic, did not have that option installed, and therefore we never used the compact engine display if that option was installed on the airplane in the first place. So, looks like we're going to stay clear of any of those clouds for now, so let's release our supernumerary as well. And with that, we are up and in the air and on the way. So, gotta do a small change here. Karax shouldn't be above level 110, but at level 110. And that should get us a much better top of descent as well. So here we can see almost 60 miles, a little bit less actually, to our top of descent. Now, for the fun of it, I just want to continue the climb before we start the descent preparation. But what we can do is a quick run into the cargo compartment and see if we can find any of those windows from which we can have a good look at the wing. Now, before we go into the cargo compartment, always got to take the oxygen mask with us, since there are no oxygen masks available inside the cargo compartment. So we always got to take that one with us. Now let's make our way aft and see if we can find any window from where we have a good view outside. I really like the level of detail that went into these, into all these features that we've got in the hold over here, such as the load control panels, or over here you've got the interphone system from which you could speak with the cockpit at any time. Really nice. Really, really nice. Now the 777 sure is a long aircraft. It is a long way getting back here. Oh. Yorkshire tea. We are delivering Yorkshire tea. Wonder why you couldn't transport that on the roads, but why you need an aircraft for it. These on the other end side. Yeah, that is some good looking cargo, isn't it? That is some very good looking cargo. Alright, let's have a quick look outside. Nice, isn't it? Really, really nice. Alright, well, let's go back to the front. We're gonna make this one a little bit quicker here. Here we are. So, just about to level off, approaching the cleared altitude much too quick, but hey, not my problem. I pretend I haven't seen anything and I will go close the door to the cargo compartment again. Which is just over here. And here we go. Okay, excellent. We've reached our cruising altitude. We have around 30 and a bit miles to our top of descent. Let's go ahead and start preparing for our approach into Frankfurt. First things first, let's go ahead and get the charts. So, arrival, Kerax, 5 Alpha, here it is. Then I want the approach charts for the ILS Yankee approach runway 25 right. So, we do need the parking stands west, and we do have 777 restrictions on that one, so let's take this particular chart here. We could also take the taxi chart overview, and that's it. Okay, comms, information, ATIS request, Frankfurt, VATSIM, and automatic updates please. Send. Okay, our speeds are looking good. The forecast should certainly be loaded. Then Frankfurt and a 25-mile ring into here, please. And then let's go ahead and have a quick look at our weather. At our route. I'm thinking weather here because there is this hugely nonsense piece of returns that where I'm thinking like, yeah, where is it? Where is that weather? I can't see it. Okay, Frankfurt weather is here, 2808, Broken 2300, 1019. Which is pre-selected. So, Kerax 5 Alpha is up here, and we're gonna cross Kerax in level 110. I know it says above over here, but ATC normally wants you down at 11 over there. So they're on to Gator, Delta Fox 407, 408, 411, and from there we proceed on to the downwind via 412, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then on the present heading. Okay, so from there we are gonna fly on to the ILS Yankee approach runway 25 right. And the reason I'm going on to 25 right over here is because the cargo apron is located right up here. or at least one of the two cargo aprons, but the one that AeroLogic is using is up here. So the initial approach fix is 426, and then we continue at 543. And then we've got 480 up here, max 220, 5,000 feet, and 430 over here. 170 knot restriction is quite good. That's most likely what we're going to get from air traffic control anyway. 3.2 degree glide slope, which is very dangerous, and therefore a reason why AeroLogic has made the northern runway in Frankfurt captain's landing only, which is normally used at dangerous airports such as Madeira. But okay, Frankfurt 25 right is similar to Madeira, we all know that, so luckily we are flying on the captain's side anyway. Missed approach then, straight ahead on the runway track, then Delta Fox 485 at 1870 or above, 486, maximum 220, 2950 or above, 487, and then on towards Miftu, climbing to 5000. And that is all in here. Excellent. So all that good stuff is in here. We're approaching the top of descent slowly but steadily. However, let's go ahead and quickly finish up on our preparation. So we're burning 2000 kilos, which gives us a landing weight of, let's say, 237.5. Make that 238 since we are likely going to get a shortcut. Flaps 30 landing, remember, dangerous runway. And auto brakes, we'll see about them. So, landing en route, Frankfurt, onto the dangerous runway, 25 right. Let's make it wet, because why not? Import aircraft details and the weather, hit calculate, and it actually tells us we can't do it. Okay, well, let's take the reverse as operational since it's a wet runway. Oh, weight 0. No, not. Right, I'll tell you what, let's first of all start our descent towards flight level 110. So, speed reducing nicely to the descent speed exactly by the time we reach our top of descent. Look at that. Wonderful interception of the VNAV. That's something that PMDG just shines at. The automatics are incredibly accurate. Alright, I still don't trust you that we can't land there. So we said the landing weight is 238,500. Look at that, we can land there. Surprise! So, auto brake 3 it is then. No notes in here. Wonderful. Are you ready for the briefing? So, threats for the arrival. It's a short and dangerous runway, therefore we are not going to prolong the flare, we just bang it right onto the aiming point. Typical cargo landing, they say. Alright, in terms of the star, we've got the Karax Alpha Alpha arrival, which is that little S-turn ANAV transition thing for an ILS Yankee approach 25 right. The approach itself starts in 5000 at a 3.2 degree glide and going down to a minimum, which we have actually not set yet. See, that's why we're doing this stuff. So the minimum is 561. The freighter is a Cat Delta aircraft. So 5, wrong button, 6, 1. Perfect. In case of go around, it's going to be a right hand turn out and climb into 5,000 feet. Vacating the runway close towards the end, according to our calculations, and then via Papa 1, somewhere around Stan Fox 235 or so. Do you see any threats? Nope. Beautiful, me neither. Descent checklist, please. So, recall, checked, notes, checked, auto brake, 3, landing data. We're at 3143, minimums 561, set left, set right, and approach briefing completed, descent checklist complete. So, looks like it's going to be a little bit rough once we're actually entering those clouds. I'm gonna sit our supernumeraries down already. Safe is safe. And why do we still see the COM tab over here? That should have vanished when I clicked the COM button. Yeah, you shouldn't need to press cancel for that. It should automatically vanish. Oh well. A little thing that I am going to report. So, Karax in level 110, then we should be able to fly more or less straight in. This is just such an awesome aircraft, isn't it? The 777 just looks so beautiful. Admittedly, it would look more beautiful in the new sim. But hey, I'm sure we're gonna get there when they eventually give us some WASM debuggers. Okay, passing nicely by those little towering cumulus over here. So, anything else we can do? Not really, huh? But let's take a small moment to have a look at some of the air conditioning pages here. Those have of course changed since we are now flying a freighter with a different cabin layout. Now what you will notice is that we only have cargo temperature selected for the aft hold right now. But move over here, and that's lower cargo temperature forward. Let's see what happens if I switch this one on. So now you can see we've actually got a target in the forward hold as well. We don't need it today, so we can just turn it straight back off. Like that. Likewise, down here on the aft hold, we can just switch it off. We don't really need to do any manual heating there. Okay, cargo heat aft. Yeah, we turned that off intentionally, didn't we? And new ATIS, information Bravo, wind 270 at 6, temperature 8, QNH 1019, which is still pre-selected. Looking good. Cancel. Okay, cargo heat aft still. It really wants us to turn that on, doesn't it? Well, in that case, let's just put it all the way to cold. Okay, looks better. So, plane, you're flying a little bit slow for my taste. Let's add some thrust manually. And then, since there is no other traffic around, continue present heading, expect radar vectors, ILS approach, runway, or ILS Zulu, runway 25 right. Extend the center line, please. Out of 480. That's 246 inbound, 247, fine with me as well. Thrust enough speed. Vertical speed, that's a little bit easier. So we'll just continue straight in. We've got the VNAV path inside over here, and we will eventually just turn something like 10 degrees to the left. We can do that now already. And that's going to lead us nicely onto the final approach. I will maintain level 110 until we are actually approaching the VNAV path, so that by the time we are going to intercept the path, we can nicely start our deceleration towards 250 knots, descending below level 100, making our life about as easy as it gets. So the path is coming. Let's descend down to 5,000. VNAV. Set QNH. QNH 1019 cross-check, passing 11,100 now. Okay, approach checklist. Altimeters. QNH 1019. approach checklist complete. That's about as easy as it gets, isn't it? Okay, autopilot off. Auto thrust off. Let's do this ourselves. So, it seems a little bit twitchy on the pitch trim over here. Not as easy to trim out as it used to be. But that's something I should report. Okay, passing 10,000. Lights are on, approach checklist is completed. I'll keep the visor out until we are actually below the clouds, because the sun is shining right into our face over here. And yeah, you can have the same if you really want to. So, where is my extended centerline gone? That's strange, we did extend it, didn't we? Here we go, extended once again. And interestingly enough, that makes our VNAV path jump off. Strange. Okay, present heading, cleared ILS approach. LNAV armed. So, a little bit of thrust over here so that we don't get too low on the approach. Here we go, finally in trim. Elnav, why are you commanding a left turn? That certainly shouldn't happen. Okay, in that case, back to heading select. Normally what it will do, if you are on a heading and you have an extended center line, the moment you press LNAV, it is going to go wings level, and then just fly straight until it intercepts the LNAV course, but it shouldn't command any left turns or anything the likes. Okay, approaching the clouds, temperature is +3, so we could possibly encounter some icing conditions here. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, localizer alive. Lock armed. Localizer capture. So, keep descending, please. Trimming the aircraft is a little bit odd. Okay, approaching the glide slope. Approach armed, and now that we're in the clouds, let's get rid of those sunshades. Flaps 1, speed checked. Flaps 1. $1,000 to go, checked. Headwind component at around 10 knots, that's fine. And flaps 5. Speed checked. Flaps 5. So, give me that flap 5 speed for the time being. So, look at that, the engine and wing anti-ice actually came on. Just like it should. Perfect. So, VNAV alt. Glide slope capture. Go around altitude 5000 set. Okay, jump cargo 170 heavy, establish dial as Zulu 25 right. Correction, Yankee. Plane, where are you going? It just felt like it was in trim. Okay, 170 until 5, contact tower 1365. Bye-bye. So, flaps 15. 170 knots. Okay, runway inside. Maintaining 170 until 5 DME, just like in the real world. Now, for those of you wondering, when I say that the lighting engine looks a lot better in Flight Simulator 2024 than it does in 2020, here is a very nice example. The terrain down here should be quite a bit, let's say, less vibrant. There should be less colors in this. Okay, no relevant weather. Let's switch over to terrain, because there is some relevant terrain just on the right over here with the Feldberg. Okay, gear down, flaps 20. But we've still got to maintain the speed. This is one of the challenges flying in Frankfurt with those 170 until 5 restrictions. You've just got to complete your configuration while you maintain the airspeed, which is counterintuitive in the first impression. So, flaps 30. And now we're approaching 5 miles. Idle. Let's get that speed back. Here we go. And now we've just got to get it down until we reach 1000 above the ground in order to meet the stabilized approach criteria. Here we go. That's looking good. Landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. Checklist complete. Speed check correcting. It's still above the gate, so it's no problem that we temporarily went below this. Here we go, looking much better. Okay, nice and stable. Now the reason we're landing on the northern runway, checked, is because the cargo apron is just over here. That's where we're gonna park with AeroLogic. So it's only logical we're landing here, right?
Approaching 25 right.
Intentionally. So, nice and stable, as we should be. Spot on the speed.
400. Approaching minimums.
Tracked.
200. Minimums.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Speed brake up, thruster is normal.
Meters remaining.
70 knots.
900 remaining.
Manual brakes. Very nice, here we are. Welcome to Frankfurt. Now I gotta say, this was a fun one. This was a really fun one. Flying these kind of trips on the 777 freighter is just impressive. Not so much going into the ground, of course. So let's slow it down, 10 knots for the turn. One of the good things about flying cargo is you don't have to be as smooth as when flying passengers. Of course, you'd still thrive to be as smooth. I mean, that's just down to the pride alone, isn't it? But if you need to go a little bit harsher with the brakes, you know, if there is any cargo that you would damage with this, then that cargo should probably not have been in the airplane in the first place. Alright, here we are. APU is coming on. So, off to the right over here, over the bridge. This is always where I can do my favorite ATC call. Apron, moin, die Box auf der Brücke. Which literally means the box on the bridge. You will remember box is the ICAO code of AeroLogic. I just love that one. And they keep doing it over and over in the real world. So that's looking good. Then let's bring up the full engine display. And we've got our 3 minutes cooldown already, so shutdown right engine. So, full speed around the turn, it's less than 30 degrees. And now we've just got to be careful that we don't get too fast over here on the way down. In the meantime, apron, and we're looking for the northeast cargo ramp, stand 237. Follow me, no thanks. Handling by, yeah, give me Fraport because why not? Alright, going onto an apron over here, so let's slow it down a bit. 15 knots should be our maximum speed on aprons. So, the APU is coming. So, that's 238. The next one is 237. Lights are already off. No more than 10 knots turning onto that gate. There we go. 9 knots is looking good. So definitely a dynamic turn onto the gate, but I just want to be sure that I'm not losing too much energy here. Because I don't want to run my engine at more than idle power on the gate if it can be avoided. So, 3 knots, that looks good. Kindly turn on the stopping features now. Will you? No? Then we gotta stop ourselves. Makes me wonder why I requested the gate in first place. Alright, anyway, here we are. Okay, APU running. So, the engines are off, parking, or shutdown checklist. Park and brake, set, shutdown checklist complete. Well then, let's go ahead and open up those doors. So, first things first though. One right disarmed. One left disarmed. So then, unlock, you go up and you go open. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves the loader, and with that we should have completed successfully our first domestic mission with AeroLogic. There will surely be many more to come, you can be absolutely sure about that. In the meantime, chocks, ground power, and then cargo request. And you can give us stairs on the one left as well, please. Alrighty, ground power is available and coming on. However, I will leave the APU running because, hey. So, bring the loaders into position over here and opening up the doors over here. Wonderful! So with that, my friends, I do hope you enjoyed this one, and I do hope you will absolutely love the 777 freighter like I do. I'm really looking forward to your feedback. Be sure to put it in the comments below. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.